What's up, everybody? If you've seen the previous videos where we built this concrete block sitting wall and laid this natural travertine patio, you know where we are. But if you want to see how we got to where we are, there's a playlist link in the description below. But we have this patio all laid out to exactly where it needs to be, and now we're going to be marking some spots for Sonotubes because the customer is going to be building his own custom corner pergola, and it needs some concrete footings, 4 to be exact, because there's going to be 4 posts. So what we're doing is going around the edges, getting all the excess 3/4 base stone out of our way, and we're going to be able to pinpoint exactly where those sonotubes got to go. Some people may or may not have put them in first because they would try to measure and make sure it's good. I like to just get a project exactly to where it is, and then you can dismantle it a little bit to get these footings in, and at least at that point you know you're much more accurate. There's nothing worse than putting in footings like this and then them not being where they need to be. So it's worth it to me to take the extra time to pick these pieces up and get that stone out of the way to be precise, and then we can put those pavers right back down. But we have to bury these sonotubes 4 feet in the ground, so there's always a little bit of a chance for stuff to be caving in, so we have to kind of make that area wider than we would need it to be. These are only 10-inch sonotubes. They're just 6x6 posts that he's putting on them, so that's plenty of width for the footing. But another thing we're doing in this video is we're going to concrete the edge of this patio. A lot of people wonder what the best method for edge restraint is with a thin travertine tile like this. It's only a little more than 1 inch thick, so a regular plastic or aluminum edging isn't going to work. And when you do concrete, it's not thick enough for you to get a thick bed of concrete like you would with a regular concrete paver. So if you've watched my videos on how I do my concrete edge restraint, we're going to be doing it a little bit differently. With concrete pavers, the edges only sit on stone and we use concrete on the edge. But with thin travertine pavers or natural stone pavers, we have to put the edge of it on concrete as well as the side, because there's not enough thickness to have only concrete on the side. So we have to basically go back a couple inches underneath the entire edge of the patio and push the concrete under the travertine to make sure the edge is sitting on top of something solid, or else it'll just cave in and fall in the future. Alright, got all our sonotubes marked out. Those are 10 feet from each other. Hoping I got everything cleared out enough. We'll see. Gotta throw the auger on. It's gonna be the first hydraulic attachment we put on this thing, bud.
Excited?
Yeah. I am.
Careful, dude.
12-inch auger. We got 10-inch sonotubes, so that should give us some wiggle room. Probably bring the whole thing over here, huh? Slid on really good. did that. Alright, let's go find out what button works it. Forward spin, backward spin. Alright, let's try it. Hey bud, can you unhook that string? I forgot to do that. Kind of want it to be hanging, then you know it's going pretty straight. Hung up a little bit, might have been a root or something. Try to clean it up a little, see if you can see something. That's it? Nothing else? Alright. Maybe it's a root or something. Said something, I hit it. I hit something. What's it look like, bud? Haven't found anything yet?
Well, I got those couple right there, but you shove it in there. Obviously not now.
Yeah, it's
it goes deep.
Yeah, we need the post hole diggers.
That's a lot better than digging with my hand.
Oh yeah. Yep. Very quick.
Remember, it was down there, dude. You had like almost the whole thing down.
Yep. some rocks. It's just the biggest downfall of the auger, dude. They don't even have to be big. If you wedge them up just right.
That's the whole train.
You want to keep helping me with this, bud?
Yeah, we need.
Just start shoveling that one out. Yeah, I'm probably gonna need a bar for that. Culprit. Try these things out, pal. Another foot. See if I can get that in there some more. Now that those rocks are out the way. Really close. Really close. Should be able to get the rest by hand. I got 2 sonotubes set, ready to be poured. So that line is 12 inches off of the edge, and we went about 1.5 inches away from it. So we'll have a little bit of a buffer between the travertine and the sonotube. They're both slightly below the surface. This one's like a 1/2 inch lower than the height of the paver, or somewhere close to the height of the paver. This one's a little lower than the height of the paver because we have a slope, and we're trying to balance that out a little bit. It's not perfectly level with this one, but it's less than 1/8 of a slope. This one and this one are pretty much level with each other. And again, this one's like slightly less than 1/8, higher than here, just like the patio. Patio is more sloped, but either way, those two are locked in. The outer edges are backfilled with 3/4, just so there's less chance of settling. If you just were to backfill it with the soil that you pulled out, it's hard to tamp it perfectly around a sonotube when you don't have much room, so it ends up sinking in the future. The 3/4 helps lock it in better and doesn't need to be compacted as much. So those two are good. I'm gonna do these two off camera, and once they're all set up, I'll show you what we're doing when we pour it. The concrete is curing pretty good. Still a little gray, or dark gray I should say, but it's been cool at night, so it's gonna take a few more days than usual to completely cure. But that's gonna be really nice for getting things in and out of the backyard and front yard. I think he's happy with that. We'll bring the grass height right up to that. Back up. Alright, 1 second. Dude, that sound effect, that's gonna be a sound bite, dude. What is this, like 2.5 bags, a little more?
Not even 2.5.
Oh.
That's a half, that's over there. Dude, what a day. What a beautiful day. Almost took me out, dude. Yep, I do. What the fuck?
I know, man. The wheelbarrow does it to us all the time. That's too funny. Yeah, that noise out of nowhere will get pretty much anybody. You want to dump yours out over here?
Well, yeah. Dump this one out. You can take that out.
No, I don't need the whole thing right here, so I figured if you dump that one out, I'll probably use this one to do this one right here. Yep. That stuff.
Do I need to dump some more?
No, it's fine. It's like trying to hold something that someone sawzalling.
Especially flimsy pipe.
Yeah. Rattles your whole life. Alright, sonotubes have sat overnight. One thing about sonotubes, one, you don't want to make them too wet, but they obviously shouldn't be too dry. But when they're wet, the water rises up to the top and the concrete settles. So as the sonotubes are settling, you almost have to be there to finish it, per se, because you have to keep adding some concrete to it as the water comes up and the concrete settles. So we did it 2 or 3 times while we were here, and then the customer did it a couple more times last night after we left, and they look pretty good. This one settled down maybe like an 1/8 of an inch at the most. That one like a 16th. That one's good. That one's good. So that's nice. Happy about the sonotubes being all set. Things are still gonna take weeks to freaking cure though.
Okay, 4 leads, dude. This fell in the same spot on the back of my neck. Dude, I took one off, dude. Same spot. Right, dude. Second after a second.
Second after a second, dude.
Second after a second.
I love that. After every second, I second that. Alright, I'm gonna work on leveling all the patio off. Some of them are a bit high in corners. Some of the most of the small squares got to be lifted up and put some more chipstone underneath. Joints got to be straightened out a little bit. These spots where we lifted the pavers up, I got to relay. But we're basically gonna get the whole area prepped, concrete the edge, and then tomorrow we can do all the joint sand. So let's just get into it. If you watch my channel, you know that even with concrete pavers, you have to lift up some of the low ones and hammer down some of the higher ones. But with natural stone, it happens even more so. With bluestone, granite, limestone, and especially this travertine, the thicknesses are going to vary. And as you can see, there's a bunch of different sizes in this pattern. That small square is actually the thickest, so we got to set those in lower. And sometimes even one piece can be thicker on one side than the other. So you have to take some out on one side and put some under the other. So when I laid this patio out, I wasn't concerned about the height and how flush they were with each other. I wanted to keep my joints straight and just get the area laid. And now you have to factor in the time to go back through everything you laid and level everything off and slope it perfectly and make sure it's nice and flat. It's something you just can't avoid when you're using a material like this, and you have to factor in, especially if you're selling a job like this. If you're doing it for yourself, it's not so much of a big deal because it's your own time. But if you're actually going to do this, you have to factor in that extra time compared to pavers because it's a lot of extra time. Ready to make some concrete, dude? Got this whole section here down and over to my hammer. So big L shape done. Did that so we can secure the edge now. This whole area with concrete. Might as well just send a full 2 bags, dude. I'm gonna make the trench in it. So Ben just dug a little trench for low voltage landscape lighting conduit, just so we'll be able to fish it under, and then he's gonna have some lighting on the pergola that he's gonna build. So he's gonna make the concrete, lock that edge in, and I'm basically just gonna be going back and forth in little strips, getting this whole area leveled out. The area that I did, that I leveled off and I fixed all the joint lines, you can tell looks much better than the rest now. Light-footed on the patio from here on out. Hey.
Lori Lightfoot, is that what you said?
Lori Lightfoot, dude. Yes. Whatever happened to her?
Chicago swallowed her whole.
Chicago? Her car go? Her car don't come back?
Windy City.
So typically with concrete pavers, we try not to undermine the edge too much when we go to concrete. But this situation's a little different. I want to actually undermine the edge a little bit so that we can get some concrete under and up the side of it, because these being only about half the thickness of a concrete paver, it needs a little bit more support on the edge than a paver would. So see how it goes. But we're probably going to be using more concrete than we typically do, so
We'll lay it down.
yeah,
Thick bead.
thick bead. That's going to really help the concrete get underneath and support the edge. gets under the travertine to support it, but it also locks all the chipstone in that's under the travertine so that it can't go out from under the edge. And in my opinion, I think this is going to be more than enough to hold this back for plenty of years to come, because the edge just won't be able to sink. This goes from halfway through the paver a couple inches down into the base stone, so there's no way that the bedding material can escape. When you use aluminum or plastic edging, the bedding material over the years can escape either under or through. And what happens is when it goes under, the plastic or aluminum edging lifts maybe an eighth of an inch per year, quarter inch, and then after a decade that edging is like an inch above your pavers, and that's how little by little the material goes under, freezes in the winter, lifts the edging up, and then when it thaws it comes down a little bit, but it lifts and settles year after year. People say that they don't like concrete because it'll crack, which it will. This whole stretch is going to be cracks eventually, because it's just like regular concrete. The longer the slab is, the easier it's going to crack. But even when it cracks, it's not going to move, it's just going to stay there. It just couldn't handle that length of concrete without a crack, so it cracked, but then it stays there. If anything were to happen with this concrete, where like say a 4-foot section just failed, you come in and you break the concrete out, remove it, some of the edges sunk, you lift them up again, mix up a new batch of concrete, and then repair it. With aluminum or plastic edging, it's just not that easy because they're all locked together, they're spiked in the ground. That's how it's done. Conduit's good. Ben's gonna be good to backfill now with the stone again, and we'll smooth this area out and relay all these pavers. See, that's a perfect eighth of a pitch. We don't have any wobble, but what I'm finding as I go along is these two small ones, the small square and rectangle, seem to be lower in most spots. So you can see right here, you can see on the square, it's too low. It's the same thing, not as much, but a little bit with this rectangle. think, bud?
Locked in.
Locked in.
Poly.
Yeah.
Poly cement.
Poly cement. All the edges are good. Got a little bit more to lay up there. But the last couple things we get to do on this job is spread our topsoil, grass seed, and polymeric sand the joints, which I'm not using our typical polymeric sand that we use. I'm using a different product, and it goes in with water. So that is going to be a cool experience. I've used it before in the past. I've used it on tape, on video once. So it's going to make for a good video, show you guys how we use that product. Ben, you want to say goodbye to these people?
Take care.
There it is. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, hit that like button. Subscribe for a lot more content like this. But you guys already know the deal. Till the next one. God bless. Peace.